How are you guys doing? My name is Patrick. I represent Midwest Vintage and Heavy Seven Hearts. I'm here with Tell, Fademeuptel, and
Yes,
we're going to ask
sir.
him a few questions.
Yes, sir.
So how did you get your name, man?
My name? So I got my name. Actually, this is a funny story. So I was dating this girl at the time, and I started cutting hair. I was doing my thing or whatever. And my nickname always been Tell, because for some reason, like, people can't pronounce Montel. They be like Montrell or Motel or whatever. So I'm like, bro, just call me Tell. You know what I'm saying? For short. So it went from that to then when I was cutting hair, people be like, Tell, bro, I need a fade. Like, come fade me up.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, that got a little
flow.
a nice little snap to it.
Yep.
So then we came out with the first hoodie, which it had my name on it, my full name, Montel Murry. Then it had the Clippers and this, that, and the third. I'm like, babe, we need to switch that up. We need to shorten that. So I'm like, people be saying this. She must have put the logo, like, Fademeuptel, this right here.
Structured it like that.
Bruh, I said, oh yeah, that's it. And ever since then, I've been pushing that, like, Fademeuptel, like, that's me. You know what I'm saying?
So what was your childhood like, man?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I'm from my family is originally from Mississippi. That's where they're from. They're from the South. My mom was born in New York, but she was raised in Chicago. So she's a military kid.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was raised in the city of Chicago. She's from 64th and King Drive. And then me, I was raised in the suburbial areas.
Yep.
Because she migrated out once her mother moved out. So her mother moved to Cal City, she moved to Cal City. It was like, we out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I was born in Blue Island, raised in Cal City. I lived in Harvey, Riverdale, Dalton, pretty much every South suburb you could think of. And I ultimately ended up finishing everything in Park Forest, which is not too far from the high school I went to in Crete, which is Cremoni.
And what brought you to Madison, bro?
Madison.
What got you here?
So Madison, out of college, I already knew what I was on. So I was cutting hair in college. I'm like, I got to get my barber's license and either go to school or get an apprenticeship. Like, I'm on it. Searching up places. Louisiana had apprenticeship, but I didn't want to stay with my mom. That's where she was living at the time in New Orleans. And I don't want to do that. So I called my dad up. Yo, Dad, they do X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to come up there. All right, cool. Yeah, I support whatever you're trying to do. Just know, whenever you get up here, I can't pay your bills. I can give you a place to stay, but I can't pay your bills. Cool, I got the rest. You know what I'm saying? So it went from there, and everything I set out to do here, I did. And so it took me 3 years to accomplish some things, but, I mean, there's no timetable on achievement, you know? So,
what were you known for in high school?
in high school, I'm not gonna lie, I was a class clown. I was a class clown, always getting kicked out for making jokes or talking or just doing crazy stuff in class, like throwing pencils at people in art class, just crazy stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then later on, like, I kind of dialed it back a little bit because I started working. So, like, all that playing and shit, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm working a job and going to school. So, I ended up started putting my little money that I was making into my clothes, my shoes, started getting dripped out, started developing my style a little bit. And then on the tail end, like, that's what people knew me for. They like, yeah, that bro, he got style. Yeah,
okay.
Fuck with him.
What was your dream job growing up?
Oh, that's crazy. So my dream job growing up probably I would say, earlier on, I wanted to be a marine biologist. So, like, I love water. I love drinking water. I love swimming in water. I just love being in water. They used to call me a fish.
Okay.
Like, you a fish. And so growing up, I always was intrigued with the ocean because it's so vast. There's so many things inside of it. And, just the animals and different stuff like that. It's just, it's like space. It's uncharted territory. So I was always interested in that.
Okay. What inspired you to pick up the Clippers?
So I started cutting my own hair because I didn't like how the barbers in the area where I was going to school at, I didn't like how they was cutting my hair because where I'm from, like I didn't really get the best haircut, but I knew what it felt like to get a good haircut, and I felt like I wasn't getting that down there. So I bought my own clippers. My dad always had his own set of clippers because he bald head, so he be shaving his own head. And I used to play with his clippers, and you know what? I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start taking my appearance a little bit more seriously and putting it in my own hands. And I bought my own clippers with my refund check. Started cutting my own hair, and then from then on, it was just like
that was it.
That was it. It took off.
What was your experience going to a HBCU?
So going to an HBCU was like, it was a different experience because being from like that metropolitan area of Chicago, everything moves so quick.
Yep.
So then when you go down south, it's like, dang, everything's slow. You go to the Walmart like 30, 45 minutes away. You like, Jesus Christ, like I gotta drive. And then freshman year, I didn't have no car. I didn't get a car till junior year. So I'm throwing out, I'm hitching rides. Like, yo, you going to Walmart? You going to McDonald's? You going, you know.
How has the experience been being a barber?
Being a barber in Madison, it was actually a better experience than I thought it was gonna be. In Mississippi, I was actually able to cut in a shop down there, and I didn't really have a good experience. But I would say like here, the barbers here that I was able to cut with, they were really good barbers. They gave me a lot of knowledge. They dropped a lot of wisdom on me. The barbers and from where I worked at, like I have no complaints about like great experience, great guys, and still to this day they still elevated. They opened up a new shop, so they got their own thing, and just to see that, it's like, and I come from that, you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna always pay homage to that because I appreciate what they did for me, for sure.
Did you have somebody kind of like giving you the ropes and teaching you as an apprentice, or did you just kind of learn from like trial and error and then you got into a shop?
It was a little bit of both, right? Because I had that prior experience with messing with my own head, so I already had the tidbits of okay, what a line is, what a fade is, different stuff like that. It was just about when I started taking it seriously, seeking out those older mentors in the shop. Like the guy who I worked with, I'm not gonna name drop.
That's like
that. I'm not into that. But the guys that I work with, the one in Mississippi, he was really good to me. Of course, I came up here, learned a lot more, way more, mind blowing stuff that I learned up here. Like I would tell anybody, like if you want to learn X, Y, and Z, go to such and such because he know, like he know what he doing. So.
It's one thing to have the skills and abilities, being like you know how to cut.
Right.
But it's also a business attached to that.
Yes, sir.
So how much have you learned in the last couple of years of being an entrepreneur?
I've learned a lot because I've worked under somebody's business and I've also operated my own business as well. So I had purchased leased a salon suite. So I did that for like 6 months, and that was nonstop. And I realized like, when you running your own business, it ain't no breaks. Like you 24/7, you have to be on go. Like as soon as you close your eyes, you still in business mode because you're thinking about things in your brain. So when you wake up, okay, I have to implement because your business is you. And it's your baby. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta raise it right. And it takes that. It's a 24. You never stop being a parent to your business. So,
what separates you from maybe another barber or even another entrepreneur?
I think for me, it's just kind of like my realness. For me, like I just feel like nobody else on this earth can give nobody what I can give them because I'm me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like once I realized that, then it was like, okay, it's cool. Like any other barber that I deal with or that I know, like they could, quote unquote, be better than me or this or that, but they're not me as far as they don't bring what I bring. They don't impact people how I impact people. So it's like I feel like I'm going to always have that just slight separation.
Has there been any barbers or anyone in your field that you like, man, I really like what they're doing, or they give you a little bit of inspiration?
Definitely the guys I work with up here in Madison. I mean,
But now there's celebrity barbers, bro. I've
right,
been seeing them
right.
on Instagram.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
for
there's
sure.
some guys that are doing some
Definitely
stuff.
okay. I'm gonna shout out my boy Cashy T.
Okay.
For sure. I don't know if anybody knows about him, but he a barber here in Atlanta. My guy, he posted a quote today. He said, I'm not into the consultation videos. I'm not into the acting. What I do is art, and I'm an artist. So like you gonna get that. Like when you, and I feel that because like when you go on my page, I don't have no videos of me talking to people or doing. It's just I'm showcasing what my business is and what my art is, which is barbering. Like I'm showing my love and passion through that to you. And I want you to reciprocate that by coming in and giving that experience. Like come get a haircut, you know? And so that's the exchange.
As a barber, how much do you take that in consideration? Like, man, I can mess somebody up and I can make them feel like I'm never coming back to this. Because you can cut their hair 100 times and then one time, now you're the worst person.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. I always laugh about that, right? Because barbers are imperfectly perfect, right? So like, I'm imperfect because I'm a human, but I'm perfect because, boy, you better cut my hair perfect. You better do it the right way every time. You better not ever mess me up. Once I come to you once, you better not ever mess up. This is your only chance, and you better keep doing this every time.
I am that person.
Seriously. No, seriously. So, and I get it because as a person who also cuts his own hair, I understand that. Like, nah, I want mine how I want it.
So, man, I see that you now have a brand. What inspired that? What gave you that energy to grow that?
I'm not gonna lie. Like growing up in the metropolitan city, Jordan. Like growing up was always like Jordan. Like Jordan. Everything Jordan. And so like growing up, I always emulated that. Like Jordan. Like that's what my colors are. Themed that Chicago book because I just feel like Chicago has always had a rich history of sports, but like until Jordan, it wasn't like this. Chicago is a staple. Like you can't go to Chicago without thinking about Jordan or seeing somebody with a pair of Jordans. And for me, like if barbering is my lane, like I'm gonna be the Jordan of it. Like I'm going all the way for the gusto. Like you know what I'm saying. I want to emulate that. So yeah.
And so, is there anywhere, like, say, do you have a website? Do you do pop-ups? How do you sell your products to your customers?
So I have a website, Fademeuptel.com. You can visit it through there. You can book, and I do mobile services. So right now I'm based in Chicago right now, and so within that realm, you know, I would service people in or out of state. Like for me, barbering is not like a job that I can do in a shop or in a booth or here or there. Like I feel like I can do whatever I want to do anywhere.
You made it a lifestyle.
I made it a lifestyle. This is what I do, you know?
Okay.
So.
This video is sponsored by Heavy 7 Hearts. Everything is one of one or exclusive. Our mission is to change the world one trend at a time. If you go to our website, you will see Proud to Pay. This item is for all of our customers that want to support us in our mission. Thank you guys, and we appreciate you. And so, me just knowing you a little bit, I know you have certain things that you're working on. And I'm extremely passionate about nonprofit work. So I want you to tell the people a little bit about Fade Me Up nonprofit. So just tell us the name and then just give us a quick description of what you guys are looking to do and what's your mission.
Okay, so Fademeuptel, you know, of course is the barbering brand and stuff like that. But growing up, you know, my mom, she was a single mother for the most part. She had help with, you know, different men that she was able to accustom, different stuff like that. But for the most part, she did everything on her own. So it wasn't no Jordans. It wasn't no clothes. Like you get a couple pairs of jeans, couple pairs of shoes, like make it work. So for me, it's like, how can I take what I do, which is cutting hair, and then fuel that to help somebody who's in the same predicament as me? And the only thing I can think of is the clothes, is the shoes. So with my non-for-profit, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build the non-for-profit up so that I can pay to buy clothes with this brand on there and give it away to people, because not only am I helping somebody else out, but they're helping me as well, because they're spreading what I'm doing.
A walking billboard.
And they're a walking billboard for me. So they help me, I help them. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's how it works.
But also, if I'm familiar with it a little more, you also will be offering free haircuts.
Yes, free haircuts as well.
And being able to speak to the students or speak to anyone that's inspiring to do barbering, but also entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So is that a key part of it, or is that just kind of something that you want to do in between there?
It would kind of be an in-between thing right now, just because I'm still trying to build up that brand.
Yeah.
But once I do have that brand built and I am on that level to where pretty much everybody knows what's going on, then yeah, we're going full force. I even want to eventually grab a Sprinter truck and put a barbershop in there, and then just do a year round, like every year for the HBCUs.
Yeah.
Do like a college HBCU tour with the Sprinter truck.
Bro,
and then provide some free haircuts. Yeah. Just giving back. Like, there's never been nobody that thought of this like how I'm thinking of it, and I feel like I gotta be the one to do it.
How important is it to you to give back? Because again, in your industry, it's very competitive.
Yes.
And so with that, it's like you're basically giving away your services for free,
Right.
but not making any money.
Right.
Why? So what's the motivation for that?
I mean, there was times where I had to wait 3 weeks to get a haircut because my mom couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So like I said, I never, the point of me going to school, business school, getting a degree, going to barber school, getting a barber's license, doing that type of work was that so somebody else could see what I did and see what I'm trying to do, and then do the same thing, and then we can get it to the point where these services for everybody are free, and we wouldn't have to pay for them. And then I feel like the quality of the work would then go up because the appreciation on both levels, on both sides, will be equal.
What tips or advice would you give to a young man that's looking to become a barber, entrepreneur, or he's just trying to navigate through life?
I would say for anybody that's out there that's trying to navigate through life, I would say that first and foremost, you have to do it in your way. You can't allow anyone, whether it's your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, whatever, can't let them tell you how to live your life. You have to live your life the way you want to live it, and you have to live it comfortably. And you have to find what it is that you love and that you're passionate about and do that. And then everything else will work itself out. Everything else is out of your control, honestly. Those are the only two things. The things you allow in and the things that you put out. So
how can the listeners support what you got going on?
They can follow me on IG. Fademeuptel is my IG. TikTok, I have a couple of little funny videos on there. Fademeuptel. You can also go to my website. Everything's on there. My email, my phone number, which way to contact me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What is something that you've been through that when coming out of it, you gained skills, you've gained confidence, you just really gained a lot from it? What moment or situation was that?
Okay, so I didn't really tell nobody this, but in August, I was actually involved in an accident where my car was totaled, and it was in Madison. It was right on Park Street in Regent, right in that little construction zone area. And at that moment, like, I honestly felt like that was the lowest point I could reach, because I owed money on my credit cards. I owed money on the car. My dad had just put $1,000 on the car to get everything up to date, current insurance, everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm still paying him back to this day for that. But like, just doing all that and then just going through that moment, and I was on my way to give somebody a haircut. You know what I'm saying? So to do that and to go through that and to know, like, now it's like, if I survive this moment, like, now it's like, okay, every moment after this is going to be involved in me trying to do something that's going to help this. Because I could have not been here at all. You know what I'm saying? I could have been injured, my hands, my legs, anything could have altered my whole life. And so for that, I'm grateful, and I'm putting everything behind me from here on out. I have no choice.
Do you need a team to get to where you want to be?
Of course. Everybody needs a team. I think it's important that you understand the dynamics of your team, right? Because you have different positions on your team. You know, in every category where there's a team, everybody has a position. Yep. So you have to strategically place those people in those positions to where everybody's successful. Not just you, not just him, not just her. Everybody's successful. And I think that can be the hardest thing to do when building a team. Yeah. But once it's achieved, like, it's set in stone. It's solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's some pros and cons of being a barber?
Some pros, definitely, I would say the kids, like, definitely, like, especially like the young teenagers, like when they in high school, they starting to take care of themselves a little bit. They getting a little money. Yep. They like, oh, I'm crispy. Like, yeah, like I got you right. You can see
yourself in them.
Yeah, yep. For sure.
What sacrifices did you have to make to get where you are right now?
I definitely had to sacrifice moving like different states. I would say that was like, because I moved from Chicago area to Mississippi, then I was staying in New Orleans, then I went from New Orleans to Wisconsin, now I'm in Wisconsin from Chicago. Wow. So it's just like, you know, dealing with that, like just the moving around aspect, I would say that's just like, this is crazy.
How do you deal with, because this game goes like this, it's an up and down type of situation. Down, how do you handle the struggles when there is struggle, or the difficult times when things are not going your way? Like, how do you handle adversity?
For me, I just kind of look at the small things, right? Like, if you had the worst day ever, right? You had that day. So like you had that day. Like, and if you wake up tomorrow, guess what? You got another one. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like as long as you're breathing, like, I mean, everything else is like, you know, like, I'll bounce back from that. Like, but you can't bounce back from not breathing. Like, because once you're done, you're done.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So,
how would your family or friends describe you?
Crazy. I mean, loving, passionate, very driven, motivated. I think most people would describe me in that way. You know, goofy. I could be a little goofy sometimes.
What skills or lessons have got you to the place where you are today?
I would just say definitely like the skills that like my old heads, my grandma, my mom, my dad, my granddad, my grandma told me the simplest thing, right? And I think about this all the time. Whenever somebody asks me a question like this, she told me to stop, look, and listen. 3 things. Stop, look, listen. And those 3 simplest things, when you actually do them, like the benefits are crazy. Like the results are crazy. They're crazy. Stop, look, and listen. Just something as simple as that. So like messages like that, I keep them in my head, and I keep, you know what I'm saying, every day.
Have you been able to cut any famous or people that are notarized within the community?
I would say I cut one person that reached the NFL. So he was actually on an NFL roster. Okay. And that was one of my frat brothers. His name was Delance Turner. Okay. And so me and him went to the same school. We also pledged the same chapter. Yep. And I had the crib one day. He hit me up. He was in town. Yep. He like, yeah, I'm coming to the crib. Come on, I'm gonna get you right. Okay. And he enjoyed his haircut, and you know, me and him still locked in to this day.
Okay. Do you have any collabs or anything that you're working on within your clothing brand?
Yes, so I actually just reached out to Slicker. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a barbering company. They supply vests, barber vests, utility vests for barbers, and they also have like merchandise like shirts and different stuff like that.
Yep.
They have guards, like they have just different barber things on their website. But I reached out to them and I asked them like, hey, I'm trying to do this Fademeuptel, like I'm
Yep.
trying to do this free clothes thing through this non-for-profit. Let me know.
Yep.
You know, so I'm waiting on to hear back from that. But I have definitely been emailing back and forth. Yeah, trying to.
Do you have a 2-year plan for Fademeuptel or just you as an entrepreneur?
I wouldn't say like a 2-year plan, but like I have a vision of where I see myself like in it, because I'm 27. I just turned 27 this month, so in 2 years I'll be 29, reaching my 30s, and so and then it's like that's when the time is, you know, for me personally, that's when I want to start setting up the foundations for my family and for my legacy. And I would just say like these next 2 years for me are just gonna be the pre-steps for that, you know, and just doing everything I can for me to make sure that I'm ready to be a dad. I'm ready to be the man of the house. I'm ready to pay all the you know what I'm saying? Like just take care of everything and be that person that I feel like I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
How important is it for you to be a husband and father?
Oh, it's definitely important. It's definitely important.
Why?
So my mom and dad were married, but that doesn't mean that has to be. And my mom and dad both got married.
Yep.
So I've seen both sides of, you know, them being in a marriage, not with each other, but them being in their own marriages, and nothing of them being together, but you know, mutual, because we have a child together, so we have to make this work, you know. And so just seeing something as simple as that is a smallest form of love. I feel like I can definitely do that for sure. It's just about the right time.
And Tel, just knowing you personally, why do you make it such an emphasis on giving back to the community?
Because giving back is important, and you know what? No matter how high you are, you can never forget the people who helped you climb up to where you are. So I feel like I'm always going to reach a hand back down to pull someone up, because it's lonely at the top. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, yeah, you can't help everybody, but those who you can help, you should. And that's just how it goes.
If you have 15 seconds to talk to the people, what would be your message?
15 seconds. I would just say, like, stay motivated, stay consistent. Those are pretty much just like the main things like that I can think of, like that I'm every day. Stay motivated, stay consistent, like stay positive, like, you know, just give yourself positive words of affirmation. Like, you are that guy, you are going to do this, you are going to do that. Write things down also, like, you know, things that you want to achieve, write them down. You'll find that you start doing them subconsciously, just because these are things that you're telling yourself that are gonna happen. And so you just have to constantly like wake up every day and just manifest the lifestyle that you want to live. And I don't know, that's what I do. So
if I wanted to start to become a barber, would I just go on Instagram, Snapchat, and just tell all the bros to come over and let me cut you up? Or would you recommend actually going to like a cosmetology class or a school? Like, how would you recommend?
I would say do a little bit of both.
Okay.
I would say do a little bit of both. Experiment on your own if you have people that are comfortable enough to allow you to. Like, excuse me, sorry. Like nephews, uncles, or granddads, or little whoever. Cousins. And then also go to school. You know, educate yourself. You know, because there's a lot to learn in that book that we learn in. There's a lot to learn. So I would say do a little bit of both.
And how do you feel about the barbers that are like, man, I'm not charging $50 no more. I want $100 or more. Do you feel like that's justifiable? Because if you're a celebrity or you're a basketball player, $200 for a haircut is just paying for the service.
Right.
But maybe someone like myself paying $50 to $100 for a haircut can seem a little bit excessive.
Right. So here's what you may not know. Barbers were the first form of doctors, right? So me asking you $100 for a haircut, in reality, It's really not a lot, right? Because you would pay your doctor to do whatever surgery that he's doing on your body. You would pay him thousands of dollars, and not bat an eye, go through insurance companies and everything to make sure that he's straight. But for somebody like me, who you don't know or think of as a form of a doctor, it's kind of like I fall short under that category. And so it's really just based on the barber to educate their client and make them know, like, I'm important in your life. And once they find somebody that is, and they realize it, they gonna give that $100. I promise you. I promise you that. Yes, sir.
All right, tell the people your social media and where they can find you as being Fademeuptel, and also just to get your services.
Yep. So you can go to my website, like I said, fademeuptel.com. You can go to my Instagram, fademeuptel.com. I have a Twitter, fademeuptel. TikTok, Fademeuptel. Montel Murry on Facebook, Fademeuptel. I have a Fademeuptel Facebook page as well. So, like they say, Google me.
Thank you, guys. My boy Tel is in Madison. He's also in Chicago. Any of the schools that are looking for an instructor or anyone that can maybe teach a couple things here and there, he's definitely looking to do that. But also for the bigger picture of things, a nonprofit, bro. Just imagine this, guys. He's giving away clothes. He's giving away free haircuts. Man, that's, as a teenager or a young individual, that is a blessing. So, guys, tap into Tel, Fade Me Up.